Hello everybody, welcome to Daily Stock Market Update. Hope you all had a great weekend. Okay, so starting with MES chart, this is S&P 500 chart. Okay, this is the buy zone. We came very close to the buy zone today. This is the daily trend line. Okay, you can see I can draw a trend line like this, and we touched the trend line to the dot, and then we bounced. All right, now you have to see there is this daily trend line, this dotted trend line. You can see resistance, 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 and we are very close to closing above that. We are finding resistance here. We are not able to close above that. Okay, tomorrow is CPI day, a big day. 8:30 a.m. we will have a news, so probably we're going to break out. Okay, so it is quite possible that we had this dip. I'm expecting this dip to happen in this green zone. So there are two scenarios for tomorrow. It's quite possible that we had this dip and now we're getting for a rally, or it's possible tomorrow if we had a bad reading, we can go and get down to this green zone. All right, so tomorrow market open at 8:30, when we have CPI release, if we get a dip in this zone, that's where you should be buying it. Okay, should be buying it. Don't be worried. I know there are a lot of financial banks selling off. There's crazy bearish news in market, but don't worry. Okay, you should be buying. This is the idea to buy. All right, I just want to make sure I want to make sure you guys are very clear. This is not the time to short. This is the time to buy. Okay, let's quickly look at weekly. You can see how many weeks of candles we have. 1, 2, 3. Forget this green. 4, and then fifth week today. Okay, so we have been selling for 5 weeks right now. Okay, it's the time to bounce. All right, you can see here before. You can see 1, 2, 3 had a bounce. 1, 2 bounce. 1, 2. Then here this was the major crash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. Then bounce. Then 1, 2, 3 bounce. 1, 2, 3 bounce. 1, 2, 3 bounce. And then we are going higher and then dumped. So again 1, 2, 3 bounce and then 1. This could be 2. So we are very close to like dipping here. So what I'm trying to tell you is if you go here, that's the time you should be looking to buy. Okay, this is not the time to short. All right, so green is our buy zone, sell is our red is our sell zones. All right, now going to futures, let's quickly take a look at 1 hour chart, see if we can get some any indications of any bullishness. You can see now what do you see, guys? I've been teaching you guys every day. You can see there now we have RSI have bullish momentum. Also, PPO has bullish momentum. Price is going lower. You can see here. Let me hide volume for you guys. This is a teaching I'm doing for free. Okay. So you can delete this. Let me also, I can hide this SMA lines for you so it's more clear for you guys. So you can see what's happening here. You can see price is going lower. PPO and RSI is going higher. So how do we expect a breakout? How do we get a buy signal? You can draw a trend line. All right, you can draw a trend line like this. Okay, we don't have a buy signal yet. You can draw a trend line like this, and then the moment you get a close above this trend line, that's a buy signal. If you go to daily chart, you can see it's same as, okay, this is a daily trend line and also this resistance. So tomorrow after CPI, if we get a bounce here and we're above this trend line, that's a buy signal. All right, that's on and let's quickly look at SPY chart, daily chart, same thing. Let me bring my SMA lines, that gives me better visibility. Okay, so you can see SMA, today we went up. We did not even touch 200 SMA, which is this blue line. On Friday we touched it and we sold off. Today also we are selling off. Okay, so it looks bearish, but again on SPY you can see we are on this support trend line. Okay, so a bounce is expected very soon. It is possible this dip is happened here. Okay, so it's quite possible that this dip already happened and now we are ready for a bounce. Okay, again, this is not the time to short. This is not the time to short. This is the time to go long. All right, okay, now go to VIX. VIX had another bullish day, more than 6% up. One thing I want to show on 1 hour chart, you can see we have negative divergence on RSI. Okay, PPO has no divergence, but you can see price is going higher, RSI is going lower, and I don't see any gaps here, but I do expect a dump to come. So I think VIX is almost done its move, and it went as high as 30s. Okay, so this is the time. So if we get a big pump again tomorrow, if CPI news is bad, VIX goes higher, that's the exact time you should be looking to buy the stocks. Okay, and also March is a weak seasonality period, but you should be looking to buy in March. Okay, you should not be looking to sell. March is more for buying for long-term holds. Okay, I am expecting next couple of months to be very bullish from here. So you're gonna regret not buying in this time right now. Okay, US 100. Let's quickly look at futures. This is 1 hour chart. Same thing, divergence on RSI and PPO. It actually US 100 was very good today. We had pretty good. So let's see if we had a breakout already or not. So we had a breakout, then we are selling off. So futures are now right on the resistance trend line. So look for a breakout of that anytime this night. And but again, anything happens overnight is gonna be of no use. You have to wait for news tomorrow. CPI, people are expecting, major banks are expecting 6%. So anything around 6% or below should rally. Anything above should dump. Okay. All right. Let's go to US 30, which is Dow Jones. Very weak close today. Again, I think, okay, so it already reached my target, Dow Jones today, all right. I think this is all going to be a massive bear trap, okay. You can see we are on this trend line. You can see this trend line. We are now going below. I think it's going to be look below and fail, and we're going to be ready to rip higher, all right. So be mindful of that. And I think this already completed the expected move of this wedge here. So if I draw a line like this, and I move this wedge here, okay, and depending on when we broke out, we already finished the expected move, okay. So Dow Jones should be ready to pump higher from here. US 200, US 2000, which is Russell. So again, it's not a impulsive selling. We are very close to this trend line, okay. We are right over there, so this could be again, you know, a bear trap. So look to buy the dips on Russell. This is also with all those small 2000 companies, okay, all those zombie companies. So it's possible they are selling very hard because it has all these regional banks in this index fund. So it's possible we're gonna get a bounce very soon. All right. Again, let's see on divergence. Are we getting any divergence on this? Okay, Russell is also showing divergence. Price is going lower. RSI is going higher. US 30, which is Dow Jones, same thing. So divergence across the board on all four indices. Okay, ready for a bounce. All right. Crude oil. Crude oil basically again on support. Look how perfect. I did not even change anything. It touched exactly to the dot on my support line, and now it's bouncing. Okay, so I think today was a good time to buy around this. So if you get a dip, then you should buy, but it's most likely we're gonna get a pump now to around $82 is my first target. My next target is 92. All right. Natural gas, very bullish move today. So one thing to note, although I am expecting this dump, but it's quite possible there's also this support here. Okay, so there's this support here. Okay, you can see this whole confluence of support. So it is quite possible natural gas was up more than 6%. Let's go to 4 hour chart. Let's go to 4 hour chart and see what happened today. We are again we are very close to this 50 SMA line on 4 hours, so we are not able to close above that. A close above will be a buy signal. Also, there's a big gap here. Okay, so from here to this gap fill, it's around 11% upside. Okay, so be mindful of that. So what I'm trying to tell you is we could get this dump, or it's quite possible that this dump happened here, and now we're ready for a pump. So you have to make a decision here. Do you want to buy natural gas UNG now, and you can hold if we get a dump. Let's see quickly percentage wise how much is the dump if we get, so around 17%. Okay, so it's your call to make, and you hold 70% dump and then pump. So but eventually, long story short, there's a big gap here, so I think that's going to be filled. So if even from today's pump, the gap is around almost 60% upside. Okay, so be mindful of that. It's a good risk reward ratio right now. All right. And Bitcoin massive pump. You can see my short videos. It's behaving exactly as I said. So there is a gap here now around 28K, 29K. There's a second gap around 35K. Okay, I don't know about 35K gap yet, but I think it's very close to getting close to this 29K gap. Now, one thing to note. What the only thing which bothers me is there is this divergence. Okay, on PPO is divergence. Okay, this is daily chart. RSI is also showing some divergence. Okay, so we have to see. It looks like even if we get here to like 29K, it will be on a divergence. Okay, PPO might be here, RSI might be here. I really want to see a new higher high. It is possible if Bitcoin pumps very hard. If we get to 35K, we could see divergence going away, but as long as there are divergence, it's possible we can get a dump, and there is this a gap here. Okay, now Bitcoin futures made a gap around, actually it's not going to be filled until we go to 2370, so it is quite possible. I think first couple of months from here are going to be bullish, and then eventually later half of this year we're going to get bearish. So okay, so it is quite possible we pump from here, fill this gap, and then come fill these two gaps and then come down to fill this gap, even go hard lower to this previous zone as well. Okay, so be mindful of that. All right, but we'll cover as we go along. All right, Ethereum is same thing. It's very close to yeah. One other thing, Bitcoin is finding resistance here. This is the top here. Okay, it's not able to close. Ethereum is finding resistance around 1700. Okay, major resistance here. So tomorrow CPI, it's right on there. Okay, tomorrow CPI, it will definitely break. If it is bullish, it's gonna break. All right. DXY was selling off because Fed now they try to save this SVP bank, okay, Silicon Valley Bank, and they are printing massive money now. They're saying all people who have savings there will get their money back. So they're giving eventually money to the bank, all right. So but that means they're increasing inflation. Okay, on one side they want to increase rates to increase inflation, to decrease inflation, and on the other side they're giving free money. Okay, so sometimes I don't know what these guys do, but I think most likely there won't be any more rate hikes anymore because they already broke the financial system. All right, so just be mindful of that. So DXY, because they're printing money, it's dumping, and gold is massively going higher. All right, we had a breakout, now we're going higher. So gold is by the dip. Okay, one thing to note here, let's go to 1 hour chart. I don't see any gaps here, but RSI started to show a little bit divergence. Okay, you can see some divergence on RSI. All right, just be mindful of that. There's no divergence on PPO, so we are looking for a pullback. All right, so gold is possible to pull back. Where do we go? Worst case, it can go to 1860. Okay, what you can do is you can draw a trend line. All right, you can draw a trend line like this from here to here. All right, something like that, and then when we hit this trend line, that will be a buy signal. All right. One thing, since we are on gold, I want to go and show you gold miners. They were up really heavy today. I've been telling you guys to start buying gold miners, but you can see, look at all these gaps it's making, right? So GDX had almost 7% up, all these massive gap here, massive gap here. Gaps are usually filled even on daily chart. There are gaps. Okay, so it is quite possible from here. If gold goes down a bit, we can go down, fill this gap. If we reach here and try to fill this gap, that will be really good opportunity to buy, and then we're going to repair and fill these other gaps. Okay, by the way, it already looks like gold already filled this gap, so I can get rid of this. All right, so be mindful of that. And what was after? Silver also was up more than 6%. Look at this candle. Oh my god, this is unbelievable. Look at this massive candle on silver. It's really finding resistance on this 200 EMA light blue line, but it looks really bullish. Okay, and you can see how did we spot that. There's divergence on daily. We were making lower lows. RSI was going higher, PPO had nothing, but now the green is flipped bullish. Green is above red line, so we are now looking for a pump. Okay, so the bottom is in on silver. All right, mortgage rates, treasury yields is very bearish. I told you guys, look at my videos from last couple of days, 2 weeks. I told you guys there is divergence. We can go to 1 hour chart. I told you guys there is divergence. Price is going higher, RSI is going lower, PPO is going lower, so a dump is coming. But I did not expect this big dump, so it's gap down. There's a gap here around 3.5, so most likely we're coming to fill that gap. All right. Okay, now what else is left? Let's quickly look at bonds. Bond had a massive rally day. Okay, now it's finding it actually closed above 200 SMA. So this is a very bullish sign, but futures are right there. So I think we're about to break out. So keep in mind that. And if we close above 200 SMA, that's a very bullish sign. All right. Now let's quickly look at individual stocks, starting with Tesla. People are really bearish on Tesla, but one thing you need to see is on 1 hour chart, we started developing this divergence on RSI and PPO. Okay, so we are making this divergence. So if you want to buy, what you can do is you can draw a trend line on 1 hour chart like this. And actually we had a breakout already. Okay, so you can see we had a breakout towards the end of the day, and it's ready to pump. and this area here around 174, around here is where it found a lot of resistance before, and we closed right on top of it. Okay, so there are two gaps here, 187 and 202. So Tesla might from here might start looking to fill these gaps. So first gap is 7.6% away, second gap is around 16% away. Right, I think there were divergence on all major stocks. Apple, we can quickly take a look. Okay, Apple is on this trend line. Okay, if I draw this trend line from here, okay, this is a trend line, there's another trend line we're just making. So Apple is finding support on this trend line. Okay, we can get rid of some of this, and it's finding resistance on this top trend line. Okay, so it's between support and resistance. If we break this trend line, that's a sell signal. If you break this trend line, then Apple can find support in this area and then can bounce higher. All right, Amazon, let's see if there's any trend line. I think Amazon does not have any clear trend line here, so I don't see any. If you want to draw it like that, but I don't like this trend line, so only two spots. But anyhow, Amazon has a gap here. If you go to 1 hour chart, let's see. Yeah, look, divergence on one. So look at this dump. It's on a higher divergence, higher momentum on RSI and PPO. So it's looking good for a bounce. Google, let's quickly look. Google is also, this is not a lower low, but Google is finding support on this trend line. Okay, this is a trend line, it's finding support. They are like these gaps here, so it's ready to fill those gaps. Meta is all right. It broke out, kind of now doing its own thing, but it broke out of this channel, so it's looking bullish. Netflix, let's see if we have any divergence yet. Not on daily. Let's go and check 1 hour chart. 1 hour chart, yeah, there's divergence here. You can see price is going lower, PPO is going higher, RSI is going higher. So also again, for this to get a buy signal, you can draw a trend line. When we break this trend line, that will be a buy signal. Microsoft, yeah, divergence are already building, so it's pumping, but it closed below this hourly line. Let's go to daily chart. There are these gaps to fill. Okay, so eventually these gaps will be filled sometime in next couple of months. Snowflakes was up very heavy in the morning, dumped down a bit later on, and let's quickly see what happened. Sorry guys, had a breakdown in the internet. Okay, so Snowflakes, there's a gap here around 154, so it looks ready to fill that gap. If you go to 1 hour chart, sorry, the percentage chart is for 11.5%. I don't see any divergence. If you go to 1 hour chart, yeah, there's divergence on RSI and PPO. So across the board, we have divergence. NVDA also starting to make divergence here. You can see RSI, AMD on 1 hour. There's no divergence in AMD yet, but overall it's pretty bullish. XLE, let's quickly look at sectors. XLE is looking very weak. My targets are this gap fill around 76 and 73. Okay, XLU bounced from our support zone. Okay, look at this bounce. It's bottoming right now, so it's a good time to buy utility stocks. XLF, man, look at the dump here. All right, this was the sector which brought SPY down. If you go to 1 hour chart, you can see now we are building divergence. Okay, on RSI, but no divergence on PPO. But there's a gap to fill, so it's possible we can fill this gap if CPI report is good. There's almost 3.7% gap there. Okay, so there's gaps. It's like this is like capitulation on financial. All right, XLI on finding support on this 200 EMA line. Okay, so it is possible we can come down to 200 SMA and then bounce. Okay, XLV bounced from our buy zone. Okay, you can see this is a trend line, so it's bouncing now. It's good time to buy healthcare. All right, and yeah, that's about it, guys. If you need anything else, let me know, and please on your way back, like my videos, subscribe, and share with your friends and family. Thank you.